Hey folks, and welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel for, I think it's the third video of the day. I've been driven inside by grossly inclement weather. So I was able to sit down over my lunch break and I watched several good shows. I watched Joe Stunner Boxing, who has further expanded upon something that I've been raising and Joe's been raising as well, of course, and that's about the media bias, if you like, towards Olexander Usyk and the disrespect shown to him by Don Charles and Team Dubois. So as all Joe Stunner Boxing videos are worth watching, please go and watch that one for the details. The other show I watched was, what's his name? Yes, The Face Off with Darren Barker. And that one was a really disappointment. I was expecting, it to be more interesting than it was. And the reason it wasn't interesting to me is really, no matter what question Darren Barker asked of Daniel Dubois, he said, I will cause chaos, I'm a rejuvenated fighter, I'm a different person. Basically, if the answer wasn't yes or no, you could guarantee that Daniel Dubois' answer contained the word chaos. So it was like he'd been given, I guess, a little list of buzzwords that he has to use, and it didn't play to Daniel's strengths. And actually, for that matter, Olexander seemed kind of done with it as well. Understandably, I'm sure the amount of media obligations get to be quite tiresome. So, when Usyk was asked, like, how do you plan on winning? He just said, it'll be wonderful. He did say he's still hungry. He said he loves boxing, and that boxing is like oxygen to him. So it was kind of, it was kind of weird. Like the native English speaker was almost monosyllabic, and the guy whose English is, second or possibly third language, had a little bit more to say, but you could see that it's like, okay, I'm done with this now. But the best show I saw, and I can't remember on whose channel it was, which is bad of me. It might have been Boxing King Media. It was one of the very big ones. Anyhow, it was an interview of Russ Anber, who I'm very fond of listening to, and that's not just because he's a fellow Canadian. Russ Anber has been around for a long time, and he's worked as a cornerman, a cutman, at the ultimate elite level. Like, he's been in Usyk's corner, and he's been in lots of other, famous fighters' corners. Anyhow, he was, excuse me, please. He was saying how really coaches, trainers, promoters, and managers, they should not engage in trash talking against fighters. And he said this is a really sincere, deeply held, personal belief that if you are not getting in the ring, don't be engaging at press conferences or whatever in trash talking with a fighter. He said it's totally fair ball if you're a trainer and you say, hey, listen, I'm the best trainer there is, and you, the other trainer, you are useless. He said that's a fair ball. Clearly he doesn't enjoy trash talking, but he said that when somebody who isn't stepping into the ring, and he said, when the bell goes, you walk down the stairs and your fighter goes in the ring. So you really shouldn't be running your mouth against a fighter. And that's why he has an issue with what Don Charles has been doing, because Don Charles has been literally, beaking off at Usyk, when of course Don Charles ain't going to be fighting Usyk. Don Charles's guy, Dubois, is going to be fighting Usyk. And he said that he doesn't know really what goes on inside Usyk's head. He's not sure if Usyk really has been bothered by what Don Charles and others have been saying. But he said that when he remembers being told by Sugar Ray Leonard that ahead of the Marvin Hagler fight, Sugar Ray didn't want to say anything or provoke Marvelous Marvin Hagler because he didn't want to give Hagler that motivation. So he was kind of subdued. And he said, that he remembers, this is Russ Anber, he remembers, fights in the past where the team have been running their mouth against the fighter only for the opposing fighter to pay the price. And he referenced a Tyson fight where Lou Duva had been running the mouth against Tyson, and Lou Duva's fighter ended up getting, well, he got iron mic'd. And in part, I get it, right? It's like, if you're fighting the fighter, then I guess if trash talking is your shtick, that's what you should do. But if you ain't, it's like, well, you really probably ought not to. And then, again, it was kind of nice to my ears. During the interview, the Queensberry employee, Dev Sahni, was brought in. And Dev Sahni was trying to be antagonistic to Russ Anber. He started off by saying that Usyk had never won the English, British or Commonwealth titles, and that's something that Daniel Dubois has won. Even Dev Sahni, I think, struggled to maintain a semblance of straight face when saying that, because it was clearly, what is it? I don't have a word for it. Nothing to do with the price of eggs, right? Dev Sahni then tried to poke Russ Anber to get Russ Anber to sort of be more, I guess, trying to generate a fake beef with Don Charles. And Russ Anber said, no, it's got nothing to do with Don Charles. It's just my principle. I don't like any trainer yakking at any fighter. And he then eventually said, look, you're the antagonist. This is your job to be the antagonist to Dev Sahni. You kind of put Dev Sahni in his place, actually. Something that, quite frankly, is well overdue. Of course, tomorrow at the press conference, which Dev Sahni is, I guess, the master of the MC, what's the right word? What's the word I'm looking for? The shit stirrer in chief. That's the word I was looking for. Anyhow. I was going to say master of ceremony, but shit stirrer in chief. And no doubt we'll be exposed to that tomorrow. And no doubt he will try to create some further, fake animus, which if you're a halfway serious fan, come on, that's got to bounce off you like pellets off a charging rhino, really. Preposterous. I like listening to Russ Anber. When he was asked about, fighters aging overnight, Dev Sahni was saying Father Time remains undefeated. Russ Anber was saying, yeah, you're absolutely right. Dev Sahni, dug back into what I suppose for him would be prehistory, speaking about Ali fighting past his best, Lennox fighting at 37, which I think that fight probably took place before Dev was born anyhow as well. And Russ Anber said, yeah, sure, but, Bernard Hopkins was still a champion at 49 or 50, whatever. So, yeah, we all know what Usyk's age is. Usyk is at a massive disadvantage if you consider, Dubois 27 and Usyk's 38. Yeah, of course, right? Anber said that Usyk was more like a Ferrari that had been well maintained, so it doesn't really have a lot of miles on the clock. And then, Dev Sahni went back and forth about that. So what else did I watch? I watched some of the open workouts. They're not like old style open workouts where they're just, I don't think open workouts serve any real purpose these days, to be perfectly honest. And then there was this really weird clip that I saw where Daniel Dubois was roaring in the face of Olexander Usyk. I really hope he had breath fresheners or mints or something, but he was like right up to his face, and his mouth was so open. Well, anyhow, it looked really weird. To be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if it's like real anger, if he's ginning himself up, or if this was meant to frighten Usyk. Other than possibly halitosis, I can't imagine that would have concerned Usyk at all. But hey, who knows? So that's what I watched over a somewhat extended break at lunch, because it's now raining hard and thundery. So this guy isn't going to go out and run a saw in that weather. All right, there we go. See you on the next one, I guess. Please like, please share, and if you can, please subscribe. And if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, it'd be really nice if you did me a solid and hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate that. Thanks so much for watching. Have a fabulous day.